Hello friends! In this video I want to share my experience with JMGO PicoPlay Plus. I will tell you about its pros and cons. This model is quite rare. Usually you can only find the standard PicoPlay version without the Plus. The main difference is the color. The Plus version is black and the standard one is white. Also, the Plus version has 16 GB of internal storage instead of 8, and it is a bit brighter. It has 450 ISO lumens, which is 50 lumens more than the standard version. My main criteria for choosing a projector were: first, compact size and weight. The PicoPlay Plus is about 1.5 times taller than a regular Mac and about the same weight. Second, low noise. In normal mode, the noise level is under 36 decibels. Third, a good built-in speakers. Unfortunately, it only has one 8-watt speaker, but it is pretty good and voices sound clear. However, for listening to music, it is better to connect an external speaker via Bluetooth. Fourth, low power consumption. It uses from 17 to 39 watts, depending on the brightness setting. And finally, the ability to power the projector from a power bank using a Type-C cable. The projector uses DLP technology and outputs a Full HD 1080p image. Inside there is a very small 0.16-inch DMD chip with a real resolution of 640 by 360 pixels. It reaches Full HD by using optical pixel shifting. Suddenly, this technology creates some visual artifacts. For example, you can see dithering noise or boiling pixels in dark scenes. Likely, if you don't look too closely, you won't notice it, and it doesn't ruin the overall picture quality. The LED light source can last up to 30,000 hours. It covers 90% of the DCI-P3 color space. In real life, colors in movies looks rich and accurate, not washed out. The true ratio is 1.2 to 1. Of course, the projector has automatic keystone correction and autofocus. They work very fast and without any problems. The projector supports HDR10. Personally, I didn't like the pictures in this mode. The image looks unnatural and the colors are too saturated. I prefer to turn this mode off completely. There is also 3D support using DLP link technology with active glasses. But keep in mind, using these features will cut the brightness in half. Since the PicoPlay is a DLP projector, it is very important to place it correctly. The best way is to put it right in the center of the screen, at the level of its bottom edge. This allows you to completely turn off digital keystone correctly. Why is this so important? If you put the projector at an angle, the software has to crop and fix the image. This eats up some resolution, makes the pictures less sharp and lower brightness because some physical pixels just stop working. To get the sharpest pictures and maximum quality from the DMD chip, try not to use keystone correction. The projector comes in a box like this. Of course, it includes the projector itself, a manual, a remote control, a 65-watt power supply, and a 1.5 meter cable, and a lens cover. It works as an optical filter. If you want to throw a party, and it also can protect the lens. As for the design, the projector looks like a cylinder. On one side there is a fan that blows out hot air. On the other side there is a speaker. Here is the air intake to cool the system. On the fan side there is a ring with a rubber foot. On this side, the foot is made of plastic. This setup lets you adjust the projector on this plane. A great solution. At the bottom, there is a standard mounting hole. You can put the projector on a tripod or another mount. The projector has a basic set of ports, a modern HDMI 2.1 with ARC support, one USB 2.0 port, and a Type-C port for power. This button turns the projector on and off. There is also a multifunction button for a quick access to basic device features. Here is a strap mount. The included remote control is comfortable. The buttons feel nice. It looks a lot like a Xiaomi remote. I like that there is a separate button for settings and a separate context menu button. Sadly, you cannot remap these buttons for apps by default. For example, I do not use Netflix or other paid services, but I use Plex, so it would be nice to have this option. But you can bypass this limit with third-party software. It also comes with a nice fabric case. The Android Google 11 operating system runs quite smoothly. There are some small lags, but overall it is great. The settings are typical for Google TV. It has everything you need. The channels and input menu has basic settings for HDMI. It supports ARC and also built-in features like HDMI device control, automatic power on and off via HDMI. In the projector settings, you can adjust the keystone correction. If instant gimbal-like display correction is on, the projector will always adjust the image automatically, and it does this very fast. In manual mode, you can adjust the keystone distortion using 4 points. A distance sensor handles autofocus, it works instantly, and if you need, you can always calibrate the focus for the sensor. In the image adaptation, you can zoom the picture, set the pan, and the rotation. In the projection type menu, the image adapts to any projector position, like front setup, rear projection, or ceiling mount. In the ambient light menu, you can choose color, saturation, brightness, and lighting effects for ambient light. There is also smart eye protection. The projector automatically dims the light if a person or object blocks the beam. Now about the hardware. It has 2 GB of RAM and the user gets a bit more than 11 GB of storage. A 4-core Cortex-A53 processor with a max speed of 1550 MHz. The Mali G52 chip is responsible for the graphics. Despite the physical resolution of the Full HD projector, the system renders the interface in 4K. I think this is a weird choice. If they lowered the menu resolution to real Full HD, the OS could work much faster. Here you can see the codecs that the system supports. The system offers flexible picture settings. You can easily adjust the picture to any taste and viewing conditions. The blacklight brightness goes from 1 to 10, and it ranges really wide. Also, there are 3 ready brightness presets. When you switch to Eco mode, the picture dims to the minimum. The font slows down, and the projector becomes almost silent. To reduce eye strain, there is mode that filters blue light. There are several preset picture modes: Vivid, Standard, Soft, Movie, and Office, and also a user mode. There is also an outdoor mode, where the projector reaches its maximum brightness, but the noise level goes up a lot. In user mode, you can manually adjust brightness, contrast, saturation, hue, and sharpness. I prefer to set sharpness to the minimum. In the advanced settings, you can adjust the color temperature: cool, standard, and warm, and also flexible manual settings. You can also set up noise reduction, adaptive luma control, local contrast control, and set the gamma. I prefer to turn off all noise reduction and image enhancers, so the signal stays in its original quality. and I like the gamma on the middle level. There is also precise color correction. You can separately adjust the hue, saturation, and brightness for each channel. For more accurate calibration, there is an advanced 11-point white balance correction. When watching a YouTube video, the maximum available quality is Full HD, even though the OS renders in 4K. Let's move on to the test images. I don't see any problems here. There are no issues with the bright area, but in the shadows you can see color rendering flows. Pure gray turns into other colors. Here, on the gray gradient, you can see a line near the dark area. The same line is visible on other gradients, but less noticeable. I'd like to point out that due to a specific feature of my camera, the blue color has a purple tint. This is a camera defect. In reality, there are no problem with the blue color. The gamma is fine. The geometry is also perfect. The lines are clear. The colors are great. The blue color is actually blue. Here we can see the same uneven gradient in the dark areas. In green, we see the same crush in the dark area. In blue, it is not as visible. Here you can clearly see the gradient turning green, plus there is a brightness crush. So overall, showing dark scenes is an obvious problem for this projector. It is perfectly visible in the gray gradient. On this image we can see how this crush goes across the whole spectrum. The sharpness is excellent, both in the center and in the corners. Dark details are visible starting from the first square, a wonderful result. Light shades are visible starting from level 253 on the RGB scale. An excellent result for showing white. Here you can also see a shadow crush on the 4th level of the scale. In this scene from the Silo TV show, which takes place indoors, the problem with the dark tones are clearly visible. The skin tone clearly turns green, there are green areas on the face. The shadow crush that we saw in the test is very clear here, although the picture should look great in the original. As for the image output delay in the games via HDMI, I didn't feel it. Sadly, I don't have a tool to measure the delay. The difference with the MacBook monitor is about 18 milliseconds. Now you can see how the projector works in general and how it handles open windows during the day in sunny weather. First there's a video in completely dark room and then with an open window. Let's summarize. The clear pros are its small size, lightweight and low power use. Good brightness for its size, uniform illumination and wide color gamut. Good built-in sound and quiet cooling system. Very fast autofocus and auto keystone correction. Now for the cons. The biggest con for me is the color crash in the shadows. Maybe this can be fixed with deep calibration. If you know how to beat this, be sure to write in the comments. The second point is a tiny DMD chip with a low native resolution. And as a result, using XPR shift. Personally, the flicker of this technology quickly tires my eyes and gives me a headache. By the way, I already ordered a 1LCD Xiaomi L1 Pro projector. If you want to see a direct comparison of these technologies, subscribe to the channel. In future videos, I want to discuss more about how projectors affect our eyesight. From my experience using a cheap Chinese 1LCD projector, I can say it is much more comfortable for my eye than DLP with XPR shift. But still, I am not giving up on DLP and plan to test a model with a proper chip without XPR shift and with a triple RGB light source to minimize the rainbow effect. If you still need the most compact and bright travel option, the PicoPlay Plus will be great. Making a 1LCD projector with the same specs in such a tiny body is physically impossible. It will inevitably be bigger, heavier and have a noisier cooling system. Thank you all for watching. If this video was helpful, please hit the like button, subscribe the channel and ask your questions in the comments. I will try to answer everyone. Bye!